Thank you all for joining us. It's the third annual Teen Summit, and this is our second parent session. And today we have one of my favorite people, Ms. Kimberly Bass Seaton, and she is here to help you change or be changed, how to become a change agent.
Thank you, Jatia. I appreciate it, Kimberly Bass Seaton, and some of you may know me as Kim Ovation online. And my purpose in life is to motivate people to keep it moving, keep it grooving, and keep your life improving. And today, one of the things that I want to share with you in order for you to keep your life improving is how to deal with and manifest change in your life. Any parent that is on the line, and encourage you to take notes. And all right, so first of all, let's talk about change. Now, the problem with change is that we're either not ready for it or we're not aware enough when it happens. Change sometimes just comes and just slaps you and boom, it's already there, okay? So one thing I want to remind you of is just the basic meaning of change, and it means to transform the form. It means to make the form, the nature, the content, the future content, or the future course of something different. That's basically what change means: to transform something, to convert something, to change something from the way it used to be into a new way. So, what does change feel like? Oftentimes, change feels like grief. This year, we have been through the entire world simultaneously experience change through COVID-19. It changed the way we walked, the way we talked, who we communicated. So grief sometimes looks like a loss of things in the way that you are accustomed to them to them happening, which oftentimes we call our comfort zone. So sometimes grief can look like like you're just all over the place with your emotions. It can look like this rubber ball where you have each color could represent a different emotion that you have. Anger, sometimes you're happy about the change, sometimes you're adjusting, sometimes you're moody about it or mad, but it's all wrapped up into one big old ball, and they intercept with each other at will. And it could affect your ability to grow, your lifestyle. It could affect your parenting skills. It could affect your family. I'm sure when COVID happened back in March and the kids had to come home and start learning remotely, I'm sure that affected your family dynamic. A change agent, an agent is one who is authorized to act for or in the place of another. So I'll use the example of when the hospital decided to close down at night. What they probably did was hired someone from the outside, a company that came in to show them how to change the organization in a way that worked, where they function only in the daytime and not 24 hours. And so that person is someone that's coming in and they're acting for or in the place of that organization, the hospital. All right, so a change agent, as we said, is probably someone from the outside, but sometimes it can be someone from the inside in your HR department. But what they're doing is they're focusing on the effectiveness, the improvement, and the development of that organization, okay? So I want to pause, and I want to remind you, I remember a long time ago, one of my mentors, her name is Deetra Giles, she asked me a question: Kim, do you think that you're an organization? And I'm like, no, I'm a person. I'm not an organization. And so she reminded me that you are an organization. You have you're the CEO of your organization, you're the treasurer of your organization, all the different aspects that you would find inside an organization, the HR department, is all within you. And then you run yourself as such so that you can be successful in every area of your life. So the organization that we're going to talk about today is not the hospital, not your job, but you as a person. About, I guess, 10 years ago, I worked for an organization and it was changing. And the leader, the director came and we met with her, and she told us, you either change or you be changed. So she meant you either go with the flow of the things that are happening right now, or you be changed, meaning that you leave the organization. So in that moment, we all had to decide whether we were going to go with the things that were changing that we really weren't feeling, or if we were going to just leave and go find an organization that more aligned with who we are and what we wanted to do. So as an agent, by being your own agent, you act for yourself. You determine what changes need to be made, and then you act upon it and you make those changes. And we're going to talk about how that happens. So when you are an agent, you lead the change in your life. You don't wait for somebody else to bring change. So let's go back to the example of the nurse. She couldn't control the changes that were being made in the hospital. And what happens is when an organization tells you that something is going to happen, they don't also tell you how to deal with what is going to happen. Okay. So when COVID happened, the governor of Georgia told us, hey, shut it down. Many governors across the country said, shut it down. But they didn't also tell you when you shut it down, be kind to your children at home. Don't be fussy with your husband when things, or your partner when things start going wrong. But it was within me to say, I'm still going to be a professional person and show up on time every day for work. I'm still going to, if I had children, get them up in time and feed them breakfast, the routine that we had before. Okay. And so those are the type of things that we began to lead change. And that happens when you practice how to have change in your life. So the characteristics of a change agent, they work on their own behalf. They control their emotions and their reactions to things. They're patient, they're learners, and lifelong learners is what I would call them. They teach people things. I am the type of person, when I'm teaching things, I'm also learning things. Gratitude, oh my God, it goes a long way. There were so many things in this year 2020 that we could be grateful for. And so, and they're also willing and they're aware. So the types of changes that happen are imposed changes and self-imposed changes. So imposed changes typically are made by the will and the convenience of other people. So you must be ready for those type of changes to happen. So examples of imposed changes are, like I said, wearing a mask. It could be promotion, it could be a demotion, it could be a termination, the loss of a loved one. You can't control when death comes, but you can control how you deal with it. Divorce is a change. It could be a positive change or a negative change, depending on how you look at it and what's going on. In addition to the family, a new baby, an adopted family member, those can be changes in your life. So those are all imposed changes. So we have also what we call self-imposed changes. And this is what I want to encourage you to do. The self-imposed changes, what they do is they ready you for changes that are imposed. So what a self-imposed change is something that you practice on a daily basis. You practice. It's not something that you're going to just get in your head automatically. But what it is that it makes you to be in tune with yourself, your mind, body, and soul. But a self-imposed change, these are things that you implement into your own life. I've been an overweight woman most of my life. And I went to the doctors a couple years ago, and my doctor told me that I was pre-diabetic. And so what that means is that if I didn't get my act in order, then she was going to impose changes in my life in the form of taking medicine every day, like metformin, taking testing my blood sugar every day, just things that I don't want to be involved in that, especially when you're talking about taking injections of, I don't even know what it's called, but I know people who are diabetic do that. And so what I had to do was I had to begin to make what I call self-imposed changes in my life. And it's been a practice. It's not something that changed overnight. It's not something that, is making me no longer to be an overweight woman, but I'm no longer in that pre-diabetic space anymore. And so what I had to do was become in tune with myself, my mind, body, and soul, and become aware of things that were taking me down the diabetic road. And so I decided that I'm going to not allow this imposed change to come upon my life, and I'm going to set some standards for myself that will allow me not to go there. Changes that happen in your life that have nothing to do with things that you can change. But in the instance of COVID, there was nothing we can do. You can't do what the disease or the government or however you want to put it limited you from doing. But you could control your attitude about it. You could control the things that you did. You could have rested more. Everybody keeps saying, throw the year away. I don't want to throw the year away. Yes, some crazy stuff has been happening in 2020, but I do not want to throw the year away, because that would mean that if I'm no longer living in this year, I'm dead. And so I want to see what else 2020 is bringing vision to us, is bringing the ability for us to change, to see ourselves in a light that we wouldn't have seen in the hustle and bustle. You may not have a master's degree or a bachelor's degree, but you can go and with the internet and learn just about anything. I call it YouTube University. Okay. So those are self-imposed changes. Your boss may say, no, you're not quite ready to be promoted for that. Well, don't just sit around and pout and be mad about it. Go and learn what you need need to do to change that, okay? And I put divorce and relationship ending because that could be a self-imposed change as well. You just think about it. Just think about one self-imposed change that you've made in the last 90 days or you plan to make in the next 90 days. That's just a little homework. Mindset is a mental attitude that determines how well you interpret or respond to certain situations, okay, or change. And so Dr. Carol DeWitt, she's a professor of Stanford University, and she came up with the concept of fixed mindset or growth mindset. A person that has a fixed mindset, that means that they're not willing to change. Nope, that ain't the way I like it. It don't work for me that way, and I ain't doing that. Nope, That's a person with a fixed mindset, okay? But a person with a growth mindset is, wow, that could be difficult. No, I've never done that before, but tell me more. I'm intrigued. Those are people that are going to make self-imposed changes. One that can see COVID-19 and still see beyond the ugliness of 2020 and still see what can I get out of this year? Because I'm here. I've been blessed to come. All of us, everybody that's in listening of my voice right now had a huge blessing this morning, just opening up your eyes, okay? So you have to learn to have a growth mindset. I've been there with a fixed mindset where I'm like, ain't no way, not gonna happen, And guess what I got? Didn't get nothing, wasn't no way, wasn't happening. Nothing was changing. But when I decided to be a person, an agent, a person that would have a growth mindset, a lot more things began to change in my life. So where do I start, Kim, with all of this? So I have 4 tools to share with you, and then we're gonna get out of here. The tool number 1 is to make daily self-controlled changes in your life. When you're late, you miss stuff, okay? When you're late, you're disrespectful to the person that you're meeting, okay? And that's a person that has a fixed mind frame. You want to be 10 minutes. My dad was in the military, so he always say, if you're on time, you're late, okay? So turn your clocks back a little bit so you'll always be on time, okay? That's just a little tidbit. Tool number 2, find 30 minutes once a week, 30 minutes to an hour once a week. I'm not talking about 30 minutes a day. I'm saying once a week, find 30 minutes to an hour to sit and do some self-discovery, okay? And these are the things that you can ask yourself during that. Do I have a fixed or a growth mindset? Are there things that I'm avoiding or resisting change in my life? What areas of growth do I need to practice in order to control how I adapt to change? You only know that, okay? And what self-imposed changes will I make before December? I put 20th. 2020. What am I going to change before then? Yes, 2020 has sucked, and there's been so many things that have been taken away from me, whether it's a loved one. My husband has lost both of his parents this year, okay? But he has had to sit back and say, what can I get good out of this year, okay? And so I want you to do the same thing. How will I do it? Who will help me, and what time frame will I complete it? Who will help me is very vital. So find somebody in your life who can be an accountability. My sister-in-law, Dion, is my accountability partner. She helps me to maintain the things that I want to do. Sometimes I don't do them the right way, but she still helps us to, be realistic about things. All right, so the third tool, we got one more, and then I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my afternoon. Hope you do the same. Change your morning routine. When I was young, I was not a morning person. I didn't want you talking to me. And some people were like, don't talk to me till I've had my first cup of coffee. My thing was, don't talk to me until it's 12 noon. Okay. And then we can have some conversations. I was just mad for no reason, okay? And so it took me to become an adult and then that was affecting my siblings. It was affecting my parents too as well. So it took me to become an adult and go through college to understand the importance of the first thing to do is for me, it's rise to shine. What can I do to impact my life and someone else's in life today? What self-imposed changes can I make so when imposed changes come in my life, I'll be ready to adapt to those things. So changing your morning routine is one of them, and I've given you a list of things that you can do. But these things have really helped me to become a better person so that when I present myself in public, at work, at school, wherever you are throughout the day, I can present myself with the energy that I want to give to people and not nastiness, okay? So the last tool is, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. I don't know how many times growing up I heard my doctor say, Kim, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. And I'm like, bruh, it is a diet. So these things that I've listed here, these are some concepts that you have to practice in your life, and you have to adapt them into your life, okay? So one of the important things that I love on here is making one new uncomfortable change and doing that for 21 to 31 days straight. They say if you do something for this time period, that it will become a part of you, okay? So find one old habit that you want to change, and it doesn't even have to be the complete change of it, but you might want to adjust it or twist it, or do something a little different, elevate it a little bit. So find something like that. And then the other thing I want to point out on here, I think everything else is self-evident except the be patient, the ice cube activity. So patience is something that you have to practice as well. My suggestion is don't pray for patience, because then you'll get all the lessons and stuff for you to become a patient person. Okay, been there, done that. It's not good. And so, but you can practice patience. Okay,